Unmute microphone. There we go. Now you talk.
What up? What up? What up?
Okay. Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's working.
Okay, let me turn that off because it'll be
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah, turn mine off too. Yeah, everything looks alright. Alright, you good?
I'm ready when you are.
I only ever call you friend of the show Marshall 205, so
Okay.
just so you know.
All right. Weird move, but
I don't like to put your Christian name out there.
that's fine.
Alright, I'm gonna start in just a second.
But there'll be no video, right? So it's just straight.
Correct. This video exists, but it won't. I'm gonna take the audio out of it and then I'll delist the video.
Oh, okay.
It will exist for anybody that gets it before then, though, so they can see how terrible you are at Fall Guys and hear this conversation.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Welcome to episode 489 of the official Game Stitch podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. Dan is on vacation. Gerald is on vacation. Holiday weekend. Had to call in a special guest. Friend of the show, Marshall 205 is here.
What's up? Glad to
Now,
be here.
been doing this show for like 10 years. And you've been trying to be on the show for about 10 years.
That's fair. That's a fair comment, I think.
But you're here finally. It just took everyone
Finally.
everyone else going on vacation.
Hey, sometimes you just got to be in the right place at the right
Yeah.
time, I think.
Yeah. And patient.
Yeah, patience. If anything, I'm not patient. You know that. You know that
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah. I think that's why I made you wait for so long.
Okay.
Because when you know somebody really wants something, you want it to be special when they finally get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Now I knew for an entire week that they weren't available. That Gerald and producer Gerald and Dan weren't available. But um, I just kept saying like we need to do something during the week, and then we never did anything. And then it turns
So
out we're out of time now.
so I think what it is I'm your fall. I'm your backup plan.
Yeah, you weren't even a plan, but yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah. Um, and we're doing this totally different. So if we sound different, if it doesn't sound good, that's fine. You'll be all right because this is really last minute. It's creeping up on midnight. We're just starting, and basically we're just on the PS5. We're chatting. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna record this episode over the PS5, so the audio is not gonna be great, but it's fine. Um, and we're just gonna have a little fun, play some games, and just talk for a while because you've never been on here.
That's right.
We don't have a plan for the episode, so we're just gonna chat a little bit about what we've been playing, what we want to play while we're playing a game.
That sounds fair.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what though, the audio might be fine if you're Sony and you're listening. Hi Sony.
yeah. They listen to all conversations. They made that clear.
Yeah.
Just listening. Nothing's happening with the audio. Just listening.
Right. Just dropping in.
Yeah. Now because we're gonna take the video portion of this off and probably not keep it up. Well, maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. But we're gonna start with Fall Guys. We'll try not to reference the game too much in case we take the video down. But just so you know, if comments are made, that's what we're doing. Uh, they're getting ready for season 4. It looks like they've put those levels up where you can like test them. So we'll be playing that at least to start. We'll try to run for a normal show length. Let's kind of see what happens. Before we start playing though, because you have a Quest, Oculus Quest, Meta Quest 2, as do
Yeah.
I. I was on the store before while I was waiting for you to get on,
Uh huh.
and they got some stuff on sale.
Okay.
So I
So
wanted to
what are
see
you
if
trying to do to me here? What are you trying to do to me
I'm
here?
trying to see if you're interested in some of this, as am I.
Probably.
So they have what's it called? Store.
Are you on your Quest? Like, do you have your Quest on your head?
No, no, that'd be an okay move, but no.
I have mine on my head.
I'll only play PS5 while in MetaQuest, which is a dumb name.
Yeah.
Drunken Bar Fight it's got the airport update and it's on sale for $12.99 instead of $17, which is a 23% discount.
Okay. I
Um,
don't I don't know about you telling me the percentage of the discount, but
well, it tells me, so I just want to make sure you have all the information.
where are
They
you
have
finding this at?
on
On
the
your phone?
yeah on the Oculus app.
Okay.
They
I
have the
forgot that
Feel
was
the
a
Rhythm
thing.
pack, which is like a beat games that are not Beat Saber, but rhythm games that are on sale. Then they have a race pack, which has that Mini Moto VR, that game
Yeah.
that we've talked about a lot. That kart racer is
Yeah.
included in there. They're 32% off. They
Hey,
have
remember a Township Tale? Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, we're gonna play that. Um, they have
Sorry.
table tennis for sale.
Hold
Drunken,
on. You're talking about 11?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
I could get behind that.
Real VR fishing year 2, 25% off.
Hey, what about that Arizona Sunshine?
I think we bought that on PS4,
We 100% bought it on PS4 and never played it.
and then you've sold your VR for PlayStation 4.
Listen, just preparing for the PlayStation 5 VR.
Right. So you can't even play it over there.
Correct.
Speaking of the PS5 VR, I'm this is why I'm upset. This is why I was even on the Oculus app because I'm just waiting patiently for Moss 2 to show up, for Moss Book 2.
Yeah.
They stranded it on PlayStation where no one's playing VR right now, and I don't want to buy it over there. But this is the struggle I'm having, because I knew it wasn't out yet, but here's the problem that I'm having, is part of me feels like I should play Moss again, like the first one over.
hmm
And I usually don't feel that way with games. I'm like, I'll just remember, once I get started, I'll remember what's going on. But I played Moss such a long time ago. It's on sale for $20.99 on the Quest store.
It is.
30% off. And they're saying that book 2 will be out in summer.
Hmm. So, my opinion, right? With Moss. Moss was a game that was absolutely captivating to me. And that's rare if you know me and understand my games and how I used to game a lot. You were telling me about this game, and I watched you do a share play of this game in VR, and it's one of the reasons I bought VR. It it just it's a really good game. So yeah, another playthrough. I don't see why you couldn't do that.
Now, you played it more recently than I did.
Yeah.
It's just been such a long time that I feel like either I have to do one of two things. Either I have to play through it again, or I should watch someone's playthrough on YouTube or whatever. I should watch a playthrough to get me in the right mindset, I think, because I just don't remember anything about the game, like at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's really good.
And
I
I
mean,
assume the
you
second
should
that
know
I
that.
see it, the second I'm in it, I'll remember it. But right now, I don't remember anything. So I bet that's really why I got on the store, to see how much Moss was and to see if they had officially dated Moss 2, because they just keep saying summer.
Yeah.
Which it took me into that sale. Then I saw everything else that was on sale, and I kind of want to play Drunken Bar Fight. I think we would enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Um, I'm looking at this real fishing right now,
Uh huh.
and I don't know that I don't buy this.
I mean, I'm down. Whatever. I don't want to buy everything, but whatever you get, I think I'm also good to get. Maybe one or two of them.
Yeah.
But is that real fishing? Does it have multiplayer?
I don't know. I didn't look at that. I was trying to look at the gameplay. Let me see here. Um, yep, and co-op.
Hmm.
So not real sure what that is unless you and
You
I
hold
set.
you, no, you hold the rod. I'll reel it. It's the most
Maybe,
co-op.
maybe.
I mean, nothing's ever been more co-op than that.
Yeah. You know, I do like a puzzle game every now and again, but I expect you to die. I just looked at that. That looks like it would just make me mad.
I love that game. I think I platinumed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had a platinum. I don't know if I did platinum, but I love that game. It was a really good time.
You platinum it on Quest?
No,
I
no,
think
they
that's
don't
the
have
thing.
they don't have trophies, and the MetaQuest doesn't have time for that.
Yeah, I get it. Old Zuckerberg didn't have time to make it happen.
He's busy
He is busy man.
being a robot and all, alien robot. Also, this I feel compelled to say, because I lied. This is not even new levels. This is just the futuristic levels that are already in here.
And Fall Guys, yes.
Yeah, in Fall Guys. It's not even anything new. I just lied to everybody listening. So if you thought that you could jump in and play the new levels, it's not right. It's not true. This is the whole reason we played this.
It is. I mean, what else was we gonna play
Could
though?
have played anything. Let's talk about it. We've been playing a ton of SnowRunners.
SnowRunners, yeah. We brought it back.
We're playing SnowRunners like it came out yesterday.
Facts.
Like it just, like MudRunners 2 AK SnowRunners came out, and we just picked it up and checked it out.
So here's what I'll say about SnowRunners. If you're listening and you thought about SnowRunners, it's a great game. It's an enjoyable time. They now have mods on the PS5. For consoles to get mods is something that's pretty amazing. And Ryan and I both like a We both like a side by side on there.
It's changed the game for me. I mean, I think part of why I quit playing the game, and I know friend of the show Thomas loves snow runners, mud runners, but it takes a million years to do anything.
Yeah.
And the side by side has eliminated that. You now do things on the quick. It's great for navigating treacherous terrain. And I just think that they should think about adding a vehicle that, like a scout vehicle, not all the vehicles, but they should think about adding a scout vehicle like that in the game without it being a mod. So they think it makes for a better experience.
It definitely makes it. At times, though, driving that almost makes the game feel broken because you just do whatever you want to do in that mod because it's the only mod that I know of. Which now I don't have all the vehicles, but it's the only one I know that you can control your winch when you're upside down and your engine's off. There may be others.
Yeah, I don't know if there are or there aren't, but that does change that. You really don't ever get stuck. It can also pull. I mean, it's not realistic, right? It can pull I've pulled you in a semi truck fully loaded down with a load in my side by side or my UTV or whatever you like to call that thing. But we're basically in like a Polaris side by side.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I'm always the full load.
Right. Only way you travel.
Yeah.
Noted. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, put that in the notes.
Yeah.
10 years I've waited to say it.
Yeah. That's why I made you wait 10 years.
Thanks.
I knew there would be a load comment right at just like instantly.
I mean, you brought it up, so I don't ever miss a good opportunity. But you know what I did miss? I did miss an opportunity to make it to the second round, so it looks like I'm going to be watching you in this game of Fall Guys.
Don't worry, if the video version still exists, they all got to see you fail. Because I finished and switched over to you.
Yeah, thanks.
You're
thanks.
But we've played SnowRunners almost every night for a couple weeks straight, really, to the point that I just needed a break from it. You needed a break from it.
Yeah. Actually jumped back in. I know I told you this the other night, but the listeners don't know this. I mean, there was a time when you and I were playing Wreckfest, constantly, and I jumped back in there to see if it would still give me that feeling, that warm and fuzzy feeling that it gave me back when we played it, and it's not bad. I wasn't as good as I left it. Had some rust on me, but I still enjoyed it as a racing game. Not quite like Gran Turismo or anything like that, but nothing I want to sit and play over and over and over again. And you were on that bounce pad.
So those bounce pads, they used to rotate. They didn't throw you the same direction every time.
Yeah.
It acted like a newborn.
Hey. Yeah, I'm watching you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. Hey, you better hope this video does get taken down because this is pretty sad run right here.
It's fine. We're back in it. But so I've enjoyed going back to SnowRunners. Farming Simulator also has mods.
Yes.
I think these games are better for having the mods, but I do agree with what you're saying that it. Okay, I don't understand why I can't jump to this. I do understand that it does break it a little bit, but if those mods don't exist, I don't even think that I'm back playing SnowRunner. So, it does matter.
Yeah, I don't think we were in it before the mod, right? And then we got in there one night and we played, and I think we probably played an hour and a half and we didn't do anything.
Right.
We drove those Jeeps around. I mean, you were frustrated one night. You were like, "I'm on my side again. I'm on my side again." But in the side by side, so when we downloaded them, I told you about the mod, and you were like, "Let me check this out," and you grabbed it, and you're like, "Hey Howard, this side by side is awesome," and I'm like, "Yes, just keep playing with it. You'll love it," and it's a little broken. And what I mean by a little broken is it's, as the kids say, OP.
Yeah. But I think that's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously that mod was created to make life easier.
Yeah.
And it does.
Did you qualify?
No, absolutely not.
Oh. I'm sitting here watching some strange play basketball.
No, I didn't. I'm changing outfits though, because I think that's part of what's holding me back. But I talked about it last week on the show. I think getting back to snow runners is it's a time and place thing, and I think when we tried to play it before, when it first came out, I just wasn't. It's not what I wanted to play. Um, but coming back, we played it, and I was like, still not what I wanted. But then getting turned on to those mods and having those kind of change the dynamic to where you can kind of do. You're not like some nights I don't mind getting in a truck and spending 40 minutes going across the maps, but sometimes I want to just tear ass to the top of a mountain and then roll down it.
Yeah.
And you didn't have that ability um, in the game before. But I get what you're saying. So, and to circle back to where I was going with this, like Farming Simulator has mods too, but we didn't find any that broke the game. They're all just like, oh, check out this building set and look at this tractor that's blue instead of orange. Um, whereas this blows open the game, and it's not just a side by side. I mean, there's cheats that give you unlimited money. There's cheats that unlock everything on the map. There's cheats that do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's where Farming Simulator gets it right with the mods is they don't have that, or at least we haven't found that if they do have that. They don't have the money mod. Of course, you can go and scoop up all these cool mods. Like, I'm a John Deere fan, so everything I like to grab is John Deere. But it still costs that money in the game, so you still have to think about buying that stuff. All it does is put it in the game for you. You still have to purchase it.
But where do you draw the line? Because I hear what you're saying and that they get it right, but if that side by side mod is not in SnowRunners, I didn't just play it every day for the last 2 weeks.
Well, I agree with that, but with that being said, we play it because we want to do things that we want to do. We're not doing the quest very much on the game other than to try to get us to the next level so that we can unlock that board. If it requires a certain level for us to be at to move to that next level or the next map, I should say. Um, when you've got that side by side, nothing's off limits. Like rock climbing is a thing where it wasn't in anything that we had before.
I guess it's just tough for me to know, like, if you're going to allow mods, where do you draw the line? Because I think, like, even though it's a slippery slope and allowing, vehicles in like that and the money glitches and all that, they can change the game. But for us, I think it's opened the game up because I just don't think we would have ever played it again.
Well, probably not. Not as, I mean, I don't think we would have played it at the level we played it the last 2 weeks. You're right. I think that that first night, I don't think you were thrilled as I'd hoped you'd be with it. Because I'm the one that kind of wanted to get back into it because we hadn't played it forever.
Right. Yeah, you've been talking about it for a while, and I finally just gave in one night.
Yeah.
And for long-time listeners, like, we play together almost every night. We play a lot of the same crap. It's part of our problem. We don't rotate well enough. And I think I just needed a break from whatever we were doing, and so I finally gave in, jumped in SnowRunners, and I did not have a good time.
Yeah, that's fair. I could read that.
Yeah. And it led to, you talking about the mods, me checking the mods out, and that changed everything. And I had a good time, but like all good things, we ran it into the ground. And the last few nights I've just needed a change. I wanted to play some Switch Sports.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that. The way you have to play together, you can't earn any money, or what I'm sure Nintendo doesn't refer to it as that, but you don't earn the credits that get you the Nintendo coins, whatever that gets you the outfits.
Yeah, they get you the items and stuff. Yeah, the outfits.
Sweets.
And ultimately, that's what you're playing for, right? And nothing more than I like to play with real people with you. So it's like when I play Fall Guys, I'm playing real people and you, whether it be with you or against you. Switch Sports doesn't give me that opportunity, or if they do, I haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
Yeah, that may be the facts. It may not. And I think they kind of miss on that because golf would be amazing when it does come out. that's going to be amazing playing just two people, right? We'll enjoy that. We played a lot of golf games together and we enjoy it. But bowling, just bowling against me and you, it's okay.
Yeah, it's
But
fine, right? It's a fine time.
but it's so much better if you got a bunch of strange in there that you don't know and you're whooping up on them too.
Yeah, it changes that game, and I think it doesn't. Here's what I don't understand: like, put us on a team together, and if you need to take out some sports, that's fine. Like if you know, even tennis works. I think if you're the front person, I'm the back person, or, um, you know, I get that badminton's not going to work, but that's okay. Just disable badminton if I'm partnered up with somebody. And I think that's what they probably didn't want to get into, because if we're playing against each other in badminton, then we have the option to throw the game to give somebody else coins. But like, who cares? You get the coins for playing. You don't even have to be good at the game.
Right, right.
I just don't understand why Nintendo fights some things that would just make their game better, and I think that's really taken the wind out of the sails for me with Switch Sports, because I do want to play it, but I want to play it with a friend.
It would definitely make soccer more enjoyable.
Oh yeah. Well, that soccer takes forever too, so if I'm gonna spend that much time, I want to at least have a teammate that's trying as hard as I am. So I'm not a pro at it, but I'm trying.
Right.
Unlike Fall Guys right now, you can't tell I'm trying. 'Cause I'm playing like garbage. But I do enjoy Switch Sports, but they're just, again, it's missing the mark for me on us not being able to play together. So I've wanted to play that, and then I talked about it last week on the show, but I've been wanting to forever play that. It's called 100 Days. It's the winemaking simulator. Damn. Did you make it?
I didn't make it. No.
I was right behind
Right
you. I see you. It's called 100 Days. It's a winemaking simulator is what it's called. It was free on Stadia. It's $30 on PS5. I finally started playing it, and I fell in love with this game. Played the crap out of it for the last week since the show. And I beat the first game. I beat it, rolled credits, and then I did everything. I got all the land, bought all the upgrades, unlocked everything, about $2 million in the bank, making perfect wines, and then I decided that I enjoyed it enough that I gave them the $6 for the DLC for it, which is the Napa Valley add-on.
Oh.
And I'm probably about halfway through it now. It doesn't have a story mode, it just has an endless mode. But I'm about halfway through unlocking, upgrading, and it has new wine types and all that. It's hard to explain. It's a game, but barely. What it basically is like a management simulator. You have a small tile set, so if it's whatever 12 by 12, you have these cards that if it's harvest, then that takes up so many of your spots. And you just play these cards, and you have to make sure that you align them in a way that you can get as many tasks done as you want. And you decide what to sell, when to sell it. You can eventually hire people that do a lot of the jobs for you. But it's basically just tapping. I'm playing on the tablet. You can play, whatever, but I'm playing on Stadia on my tablet. So it's just tapping. I just tap, 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 and tap on it the next day. So it's thankless. I put a podcast on. I just relax. And it's been really great. And I've super enjoyed it. And besides that, SnowRunners, and a little bit of Fall Guys, that's really all I've done.
Yeah. Well, between the type of games that I play are a little bit different, but a lot of them are the same as what you play. I mean, you've opened my horizon up to playing different types of games, which probably never going to play a winemaking simulator. Just let's be clear on that.
And for the record, no one, maybe Gerald, because he's a lunatic and he likes to grind. But Dan and you should definitely never play this.
Yeah, Dan will just cuss it.
Yeah, he'll get upset.
That I can guarantee. But and I haven't talked to Dan in months. But
yeah,
I do miss him. But those Rocket League days I don't soon forget. But so I've been playing like NHL 22 because of the playoffs. And I know my team Nashville's not in it, but I've really enjoyed and gotten into hockey. I used to be a huge hockey fan when I was a kid, and going to a couple games this year, watching the Preds play, and has just gotten my love back fired up for it. And then just playing NHL 22 is a great game if you like sports games. And you like hockey. I mean, the game really is on PS5, and I'm sure on Series S and X. Looks just amazing. realistic characters. But I'm really enjoying that. Really trying to win Lord Stanley's Cup there, and just having a really good time with it. But when I don't play it, I only play that when you're not on, or you've got something going on.
Make them whine.
Making wine unbeknownst to me. You're making wine.
Yeah, just making all the wine.
Hey, there's so many little thumb guys in here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a new. Oh no, that's the suit you can get right now. So you know everybody's got to get on board.
Yeah, I broke my leg here.
Right now. I think it's important to have a game to play when because we play together so often that we try to find games that we're not both going to hate all the time. We don't always play games that the other person just loves, but we try to play games that you at least like.
Right.
But it's important to have a game. And those games that we play when we're not together, I think, are just drastically different.
That's for sure. Not to say you've never played hockey, because you used to play the old ones.
Yeah. And I like hockey, but you're never going to play winemaking simulator, and you shouldn't.
And I don't think I ever see you just sitting around playing hockey by yourself.
It'd never happen.
Yeah, I just don't think that's like right. You're not like, hey, let me just pop in some NHL, because you have FIFA. You have FIFA 22, and I don't think you've even got it loaded. No,
I just added it to the library.
And I love soccer, so as soon as I get done winning Lord Stanley's Cup here, I'm going after, I'm going to take the Nashville SC and win the MLS. So,
I don't know how much you kept up with it or how much you care, but EA has decided to do away with the FIFA license. Have you seen this?
I have not.
Okay, so they're not going to pick up the FIFA license. So next year's game will be a FIFA during a World Cup year, but after that, they'll no longer retain the FIFA license. It's just too expensive. And then they feel like more than anything it holds them back, because if in FIFA they were, if it's Adidas and that's all they can have, they can't have Nike in there, and they can't have these other sponsors as part of the game, because FIFA locks it down. And so they're in, I don't want to say piss and match, but FIFA has pledged that they're going to make a game without them, and there's a lot of speculation that Take-Two may get involved. Did we not qualify?
No, we didn't.
There's a lot of speculation that Take-Two might get involved with FIFA, and they might make a soccer game because 2K is obviously so successful. It's opening up for it used to be the PES, but now it's called, what is it called? The eFootball. It's a free-to-play soccer game, and so there's potential next year for there to be 3 soccer games.
Really? Go ahead.
All I was going to say is I don't know how important the FIFA name is, because you're going to walk in and say you want FIFA, and you're going to mean that EA game either way. Not necessarily you, but a consumer.
Yeah. So you're not saying that EA's they're going to discontinue soccer altogether. They're just not going to be called FIFA.
Correct. Yeah, maybe I didn't word that right. They're going to make a soccer game next year that's called FIFA, but the year after that they're going to make one that's called whatever, EA Football or EA Soccer or whatever they decide to call it, EA Soccer Club, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I mean it's developed and it's made really well, and I know EA used to have one of the best basketball games, and then they have really pooped the bed on that over the last few years. NBA Live has not been good at all.
Right.
2K definitely is way ahead on that. But 2K made a football game a while back to compete with Madden, and it was not bad. Matter of fact, a lot of folks liked it and thought it was very nice, but then, of course, EA locked up that NFL license, and so there went that.
You buy the FIFA game every year, and you have for a long time. Will it matter to you? Because what EA is saying is that FIFA holds them back. Not only does it cost them a ton of money, because I think they pay like $150 million a year or something like that to use the name, but they're saying it also holds them back because they can't put other, they can't put things in the game that they want. They can't put people in the game that they want. Like there's just there's more limitations than they gain from it, because FIFA only matters more or less right around World Cup.
So yes, hardly ever do I play Now, this is me. Other people might be different than me, but hardly ever do I play in the FIFA World Cup. I don't go and start a World Cup match because I like to play with the National Soccer Club and they're an MLS team. So if EA came out with, say, just an MLS game, I would buy it just the same because that's truly why I buy FIFA, is
Right.
so that I can play with the National Soccer Club. Um, I do like, the Paris Saint Germain and PSG, and I like Liverpool, and I like, uh, but I don't know those teams. They don't get me as excited as, say, the Nashville and the MLS, and that's just me. I mean, there's other people out there, I'm sure, are that hate MLS and love the World Cup style.
I just
Um,
I just got to think most people are doing MLS or are doing, and maybe not worldwide, but here especially, or the Premier League stuff. I just don't see I'm not sure that the FIFA is why people are there. I think it's the name that you're holding on to.
yeah,
The name is
yeah.
probably more valuable than actually having it, but I don't think people will care about whatever they're missing gameplay wise.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I also don't think that they're going out and they're like, "Hey, look, going for the World Cup." Even still, as much as we are in America, in the United States, playing with MLS because that's our Major League Soccer, the same folks are doing. They're playing with Juventus, and they're playing with PSG, and they're playing, in their Premier Leagues, and then their and those types of things, like we are with MLS. So I don't think, to your point, that FIFA is the driving force to what they're wanting to play with that game. They're not. They're like, hey, we're gonna go get the World Cup. Maybe, maybe not, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it'll affect them as much. I think FIFA will lose harder than EA will. But I do think it'll be an interesting landscape to think that you may have three soccer games on the market at the same time because that drives competition, which should ultimately lead to better games altogether. But it's interesting to see it go from what was a 1.5 horse race for such a long time, between Pez and Pro Evolution Soccer and FIFA, and now eFootball and FIFA and whoever picks it up. I mean, FIFA's pledging to have a game. I don't know that they think it's easy to just make a game.
Well, I don't. I don't think that they do. But also, when you look at FIFA, you're talking countries. I mean, that's
Correct.
what you're playing. So you're wanting Ronaldo, he's playing with Portugal. You wanting Neymar, he's playing with Brazil. The United States doesn't have those types of quality of caliber players, but not everybody does. Not everybody has a Messi and a Ronaldo and a Neymar and a
But you're
Mbappe.
not losing those players. They'll still exist on the teams they play for. You're strictly losing the World Cup.
Right, but here's what I wonder. If EA or one of these other places were to come in and license those to where you couldn't have that. Like if they licensed MLS where FIFA couldn't have MLS on their game.
Yeah, I mean that
Uh,
certainly could be a thing. I just think back to whenever 2K with the wrestling tried to get rid of Ukes, and it like ended up being a huge deal when they brought in someone else. Like it's not just easy to make a game, and I get that FIFA's like, oh, we'll just get someone else to make a better soccer game because the one people will play is the one with the FIFA name. And it's like, I don't know, because I think making a game is harder than they realize, and people are going to go to whatever's a better game.
oh, for sure, for sure. Um, and your diehards will pick up FIFA, but I think that your guys and gals that understand what's going on with the title will be a little leery of it.
Yeah, it'll
Um,
be interesting to see, and I just didn't know if you had seen that or not, because um, it's been going on with everything. But I do think it's compelling that there might be three soccer games. I think you know the obviously cream rises to the top, so you'll see the better games. But it should make all of the games better if there's real competition out there. But I do think I feel like it's a positive thing to see EA say like, no, we're not going to be held hostage by your name, because I think that's what's holding a lot of things back. I just you can make a good game without the FIFA license.
Hey, but knowing EA like we know EA, they'll probably have a microtransaction where
Yeah.
you can get it.
Well, Ultimate Team's not going to go away.
No, it's never going away.
Yeah, I mean,
Grab them cards as soon as you open the game up.
yeah, FIFA or not, it's the Ultimate Team's not going away.
Right.
Um, they won't have to call it foot now.
I'm concerned though. Even with, I wonder because I play a lot of sports, right? I don't know that I've ever played. I always start those modes and see what they're about. I don't know that I've ever sat down and been like, "Hey, this is the mode. This is why I buy the game." I know there's people out there that probably do, uh, but so FIFA loses that, right? They don't necessarily. I'm not saying that's patented by EA, but because 2K has that similar type of thing called My Team.
Yeah, so I don't think FIFA could do that on their own, and I don't think FIFA's seen any money other than this destroy. I don't know that they see any kind of royalties from the sales of the game. I don't know what that looks like. My guess is they weren't getting much from that anyways, and they could do something. Okay, well I'm out. They could.
No, I saw.
That was
I saw you.
They could do something similar, but I think you're in the minority of people who don't enjoy the Ultimate Team because most people I know that play sports games or that talk about it, Ultimate Team's where it's at. It's all they care about. And
Yeah,
that's where the money's at.
Yeah, see, I don't get all wrapped up in that, and I guess it's because I'm more of an authentic type of person when it comes to sports games. When I play Madden, I like I'm a Cowboys fan, a Titans fan. I like for those teams to be the way they are. I don't like to go into a fantasy draft and put Derrick Henry on the Cowboys along with Peyton Manning as my quarterback and Tom Brady as the back. I'm not that guy. But I know there's folks out there that build those ultimate teams to where, because you can have the young Peyton Manning and the young Drew Brees and all the top quarterbacks and the top Emmitt Smith. And,
Ron Tannehill.
You know what I mean? No, not Tannehill. But, it's different. I just don't get into that type of stuff. But that's just me. That doesn't make it right. Just what I do.
That's their cash cow. That's what keeps those games rolling. And I don't think anything will change. I think you gone?
Sorry, no, it wasn't me. It was another guy.
You qualified.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I drug us through.
I
all
don't
the
know
listeners.
if you did or didn't. We'll see.
Well, these two
Depends where
guys
these people rank.
they're just waving at each
But
other.
I think when you see that game come out, and again, it's not next year's game. Next year to me is the one that matters, right? It's the World Cup year. You want that FIFA license on that year. They got some time to figure out, but I bet that game feels identical in every way except for you don't see that FIFA license. That's it.
Yeah, probably.
I bet everything about it feels the same because EA is only losing that, whereas FIFA doesn't have a game anymore.
It's true.
That's the
That's
one
true.
that'll feel different. That's the one that won't be the same because someone will be building a game for the ground up, or you see eFootball, the former Pro Evolution, you see them pick that up, and maybe that's how they get back into it.
Yeah, I've played the Pro Evolution on the Xbox on the Games Pass. I think it's not bad. It's not the controls aren't once you get used to a certain style and a control, it's kind of what you gravitate to. But it's not a terrible game.
So the new one was eFootball. It's a free-to-play game, but it was very broken when it came out. I think they fixed a lot of it, but it wasn't a great showing. But you like to think that with that new model, you see them get better and better. This one has the fan. I don't know if you're aware.
So I see it. So as we were talking earlier about snow runners and farming simulator, just playing the simulator games, I got into lawnmower simulator. You know how in farming simulator I basically turned it into lawn mowing simulator because I like to mow grass.
Okay, I'm out because somebody grabbed me. Golly.
I gotta tell you, I paid for it.
Oh my God.
I'm out too. I paid for it. I bought it. Was enjoying it, and then it went free to play on Games Pass.
Yeah.
So,
That's a
so I was like,
miscalculation
okay,
on your part.
yeah, for sure. And now it's on PlayStation, and I've often contemplated. I'm like, man, if this game had a multiplayer where we could start like our own mowing business, I would do it. But that could be said with a lot of games with me and you, because I just enjoy hanging out, talking to you, and playing games. Um,
Yeah, but the
something
idea
as
of like this is gonna sound terrible for everybody listening. If we legitimately got in a truck, like Crazy Taxi style, right? You're driving us across town to the yard we have to mow next.
yeah,
I'm unloading. I'm like, hey, you start on the weed eating right now. I'm gonna mow the back. You should be able to mow the front, and then I'll switch off and weed eat the back. And then we've got an hour to get across town to get the next one done before we start losing sunlight. Like, that sounds great.
right. It sounds enjoyable to me.
But I want a full city where we're like having to drive from yard to yard.
I Yeah, absolutely. And I want kids' toys in the yard where I got to pick the shit up and
Yeah.
get it moved.
I want to like take bids on jobs.
You probably want me to hit X too, so we can
Yeah.
play this next round.
But like I want to like I don't know, some sort of system where you're like, hey, you've got 5 yards that needs quotes, so we drive over there, we quote them, we either get the job or we don't. And it's about building a business, right? Being able to hire people. You got 2 crews now. Like he building this mowing empire. That's not what Lawnmower Simulator is.
The negative, it is not.
There is. It's questionable physics where you mow the yard.
Yep, yep,
Um,
it is.
and almost no. I don't actually. I don't think it's almost no. I think there are no like. Um, all the mowers I think are European.
They are.
Yeah.
Xmark,
X marks in
but
there.
Xmark is in there. They are, but they are. They're the only one that's really notable for me that I recognize. But that, again, that it really doesn't
Yeah, they don't
mean
have
a
they
whole
don't have
lot.
that FIFA license. I hear you.
Yeah.
And I don't care about that either. They could be made up brands for all I care. But if they make that game, if they make Grand Theft Auto but for mowing yards,
Hmm.
and on a much smaller scale, I don't need anything that grand. But I mean, hell, if it had 15 streets in it, and you're just trying to basically take over the whole block, even if it's cartoony, even if it's silly, even if it's overcooked but with mowing, um, I just think that would be super fun. So anything like that. I like just a redundant task in a game that we're playing together, which is why I think the idea of snow runners or farming simulator works. But the problem with farming simulator is that you can hire out every part of that game, and we don't end up even playing. We're just sitting there.
We're managers, yeah.
Yeah, the engines are running, but we're not even playing because we've hired out every part of that game, and we're just hanging out. And then one of us gets sleepy, and it's because you haven't actually had to touch the controller in an hour.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a little too hands off. All right, that water balloon hit me real hard. It's a little too hands off. But the idea of mowing simulator is great. I don't think that game is what I want it to be.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. It didn't hit what I wanted it to hit, but and then I was even more frustrated when I saw that it was on Games Pass and I paid for Games Pass. I was like, huh, all right,
The game
well,
and Game Pass, I like it.
yeah. So it's just like Microsoft Flight Simulator, right? It's on it's on our Series S. We both have one. Something that I enjoy. I mean, I really enjoy Flight Simulator, and but there's nothing to do multiplayer. So you're flying, I'm flying. There's not a task or anything to do, because I think that game is designed just for more or less for you to fly airplanes.
Right,
And
you
that's
just go
it.
up in the air and you fly and whatever. Whether you like doing the scenarios or you like actually like, hey, this is how I'm gonna fly. Next week when I go on vacation, I'm gonna fly the same route.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. But I got in that game and got up in the air and I was like, oh, this is super great. And after 30 minutes, I'm like, I want to do something else.
Exactly. We went to Jamaica for vacation, and I decided that I said, you know what? I've never been. My wife's been. I asked her. I said, "Where are we going again?" And she told me. And so I set I set up a mission to where I could fly out of that airport. Why? Because I wanted to fly over and see what Jamaica looked like before I ever got there.
Yeah.
So it It's wild, but
But
it
even
is what it
what
is.
does that multiplayer look like that you want? I mean, are we in the same plane? Same thing. One of us is flying, the other person's just hanging out. I mean,
Well, I think I think that in that multiplayer you can fly Airbuses, right? So, but this would take some licensing, I guess, from maybe DHL, FedEx, UPS. Where,
you want
uh,
package delivery simulator
you know
now?
yeah, that's what's up, man. Like in the Sims games, when you get a job in the Sims, you got to do different things. Well, why not fly? What can Brown do for you, man? Why not fly that stuff from different one airport to the next?
Yeah. What if we just had a just UPS simulator and we're just in the truck delivering packages?
So What if you love FedEx? I mean, Denny
Buy the
Hamlin couldn't
DLC
play
then.
that game.
Buy the DLC.
I see what you're saying. Nobody likes DHL.
Well, that's because DHL strictly delivers drugs. No one's seriously using DHL. It's just for deliveries.
Cocaine simulator, I got you.
Yeah, contraband. I'm bothered by the fact that I'm playing this game as if it's the first time I've ever played it.
Hey, I'm not saying anything, but Raiden just crossed the finish line for Mortal Kombat.
I didn't see him. We qualified, but just barely. I'm playing
Yeah, we did.
like garbage. But yeah, I just want a game. That sounds great. Package delivery simulator, and I think they have a game that's something like that. I could be wrong, but that would be great, right? Either you load it up, you've got 15 deliveries for the day, and here's where it gets good. Like, what if you're competing against other drivers? Like, I want to be better than you. I look and see how many routes you did today, and it pisses me off because you delivered more packages than I did.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
leaderboard in
yeah.
a game like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a lot of time. Yeah, yeah.
And if you want to make it even better, right? I could take a job at the warehouse loading the trucks. You're pissed because I didn't get you out soon enough.
Okay.
Or you're stuck in traffic. You drive like an asshole, but maybe then you get arrested. You take it as far as you want it to go, but there's a lot of options out there. Um,
So, so what I'll tell you, I think will be a great game for console, but I don't know how they do it, and I don't know how they. I do know how they would market it, right? But I don't know how they would do it. So Grand Theft Auto, game been out for I don't know, umpteenth years, right?
yeah, 45 years.
And they continue to sell that game. I mean, you may know the numbers on the sales better than I do on that, but on the PC, you can take that game and you can mod it. And you and I have talked about this, and I did the role playing where I got on there and I was an actual police officer. You actually can go in the police station. You buy your police car. You answer calls. You actually pull over. Somebody's got a way where they got the AI set to where they'll pull over. You can walk up and ask them for license registration. Tell them to get out of the car. Full blown ordeal here. And I'm like, why can't they do this on console? Like, why can't this be a game? Maybe not Grand Theft Auto, but why can't they have a game like that? Like where I'm a fireman or I'm a policeman or
Right. Well, they make all those
or
shitty simulators, but they're just that. They're shitty.
yeah. So
Um,
I just think that would be a great. I think that style would be cool if it was massive multiplayer, where when you went to jail, you were actually like you couldn't play for 15, 20 minutes. That's your jail time, depending on the crime you did, right? And because that's how it is in those role playing servers. You go to jail, you're in jail for 30 minutes. Like you literally set your controller down and go do something else. Because even if you log out, you're there. When you log back in, you're still there. And if you shoot somebody or you die, you're dead for an hour.
your
So
game's
you
so
don't.
good, you just throw it in the trash. I
Yeah.
mean, I died in this. It's a one-shot permadeath.
Yeah, permadeath. Yeah, yeah, you're over.
Yeah, I gotta
But
buy another one.
but there's consequences, so therefore you're not running around just being a peckerhead all the time and shooting everybody.
Hold on, hold on. I don't even care about what you're talking about anymore. Now I just want to make a game that when you die, it's no good anymore. It's just a one shot. You have to go buy another life.
Yeah, buy another life. I like it.
But like, you go, you buy it, you come home, you're like, oh, I'm Rick, he's an accountant. Like, this is my life now. It tells you your job and it assigns it to you. Blind bag, you don't know what you're getting. Uh, you come home with you open it and you're like, shit, I drive a bus. And you just live in the world doing that thing. You can go buy another character if you want. You can go buy 100 of them, and you can jump between them. But if they die, if for any reason, they're just gone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good idea. We've had a lot of good ideas in the 10 years the show's been going for video games, but this is definitely one of them because it scratches that itch. You come buy you're buying a pack of cards, right, or one card, a 101.
Yeah.
And you come home with it. You don't know what it is. You spent $30 on it, and you open it up, and you're like, I'm a janitor at a high school.
Keys and all, I got it. Bang, jangling off of you.
Yeah, that's what you do now. It's like Second Life, but you don't get to decide.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, exactly. You don't get to decide. You could be a burglar, so therefore your life could be a little interesting, but it could be short.
That'd be good, man. You open it up, and you're like, oh, that's awesome. I get to rob houses. Until you realize, like, yeah, that character that's gonna be $30 down the drain the first time you run and get shot.
Or the first time you break in one of those come take 'em houses, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they blast you right back out the door or window or however you entered.
Or however you don't enter, you know what I'm saying? Be sneaky.
Yeah, be sneaky, be sneaky.
But yeah, that life simulator sounds pretty good, especially if you have to.
Hell, you've named it.
Yeah. Especially if you have to buy these
Copyright that.
cards. I've emailed it to myself. Somebody else can use it. It needs a better name, but that's the working title.
Well, we called dibs on it, and I think that's enough, right?
Yeah, as long as you say nobody else can do it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You can't do it because I'm already doing it.
That's like calling shotgun in the car, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. Now nobody else can ride up front. The seatbelt won't work. But yeah, we need a better name. We need to flesh some stuff out. We need to figure out how to make video games. And it might have to be. It may not be able to be cool. It may have to be cartoony and silly.
Probably need to learn how to code.
Yeah, or hire people.
Yeah, they may think our game's dumb though.
Here's what. Well, they're dumb.
And I can't handle no lippy person.
here's what it needs to be though. Whoops, I don't understand how bridges work. It needs to be like what you were just saying. Like it needs to be Grand Theft Auto, right? It needs to be a fleshed out world. That's what makes that police simulator thing that they have in Grand Theft Auto so good, is that it's in that world.
Yeah.
Why would I jump on the button?
But I'm talking about not just that you can be a police officer, but you could be a paramedic. Like you can go and you're in the like you got the ambulance. You are in the firehouse.
I guess what I'm trying to say though is if you just make it and it looks like Fall Guys, I don't know if that works for people.
Maybe not.
You know, do you need to be in a realistic world, or could it work if it was cartoony and just silly and fun, and you know, you're like, I'm a chef at a restaurant, and then that you're playing that mini game. You're not alone on your server. There's 20 other chefs playing all that same, you know, they're in the same restaurant with you.
So, are you talking cartoony like The Sims cartoony, or are you talking cartoony like Dragon Quest Builders cartoony?
I mean, like anything, it could look like Overcooked. I mean, it could look like that.
Yeah.
Just 100 mini games or whatever where you're just doing it. Like maybe you're like, oh, I am a police officer, I am a firefighter, and when you're playing the game, you're doing those little mini tasks. But on your server, you're a firefighter.
That's fair. I like
maybe
that.
there's 1,000 servers out there, so you know there's 10 firefighters per server. You know, there's a bunch of you, but the only way to be a firefighter is to have gone and bought that card, and you don't know what card you're getting.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying there, like almost like a, you know, could you do it like an amiibo too?
You could, but I don't want people to have a choice. I don't want to be disappointed when they get home and they're like, man, I got a gas attendant again.
Zookeeper.
Just beekeeper. Shit. I just wanted, I want it to be like that. When you get it, you're like, all right, well, that's not really what I was hoping for. Like
Yeah.
every blind thing that you get, like every time you buy
Retail
some,
worker.
yeah, right. You're like, well, crap.
I do this in real life. Damn it.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I just spent $30 and I'm a meter maid. You're like, this is awesome.
Hey.
I'm fighting fires. I'm like, I'm writing tickets.
Well, we want to be clear about something. If you hold one of these jobs in real
It's
life,
fine,
I mean,
right, it's fine.
it is 100% fine.
Yeah, I think I think like maybe a parking attendant. I don't think they're called meter maids anymore.
But I
Also.
think though, yeah, I think though what we're trying to get at is when you go to play games, you want to live in a fantasy world. I mean, for the most part, you do. And but what we would like to do is just sometimes, man, you just want to be able to have that. Like, I just think it's cool to be able to have a simulation world to where it's like real life, but not too deep. You've taken it real deep though.
Well, yes and no. Oh no! I'm speaking of deep. I'm in that ooze. I'm in that slime, son. I think I want them to be like fun little mini games that you'll play. You're not gonna want to play them for like 2 hours straight. That's the idea. The idea is
I mean, you're not, but
the idea is you go spend $5 on another character so you can play another. Like, oh, delivering mail is kind of old after a while, but it's
hey,
cool
there's a
that
game.
it's
There's a game where you deliver mail.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, in our world, delivering mail might be fun, but only for a while. You don't want to do it forever. You're gonna have to go spend more money, but maybe you want to be the best mail deliverer on our server. We're out, right?
For sure.
That's on you. But yeah,
Okay.
I think that's I think it's a great game. I'll probably first thing I think tomorrow we both quit our jobs.
Okay.
We go get a couple Chromebooks from Walmart and we start working on it.
You feel like a Chromebook's going to be powerful enough
fine.
to do what we
It'll
need to
be
do.
Fine.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I can't write code. I don't understand
Not with
that.
that
I
attitude.
don't know it. I don't know anyone that can do that. We need producer Gerald.
Yeah, he can do it. He's also a cop, so he'll give us insight on that.
Yeah.
Dan will give us insight on being super angry.
So what are you saying? He'll set the emotions of our characters.
I'm like, why are all these characters upset all the time?
Yeah. Why do they swear all the pastor's swearing? I'm a pastor and I swear.
Hey, hold on. That would be a bad card to get. You're like, I really only play on Sundays. This is a different game on Sundays than Wednesdays.
How'd I get a pastor? Hey, but what if you're an atheist and you get the pastor? Is there a return policy?
Put it on eBay. Sell it.
I like it.
That's
like
the
it.
thing. There's a secondary market. Like, what if there's only 10 total cards of this job? President.
Manufacturing engineer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you can do in manufacturing, but like, you're like, shit, I got factory worker again. You just press X every 10 seconds.
CNC all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, shit, I got factory line worker again.
I got car wash attendant.
Yeah. But like, so if you're thinking, hey, there'll be 100 servers, like maybe there's only 100 total presidents out there. And so when you get on president, you can make it wild out there. I think that would be cool if there's this like rare secondary market where people were selling cards for crazy amount of money. Like there's a one-of-one superhero. So if I join your server and I'm the superhero, I'm flying around, I'm shooting lasers out of my eyes.
Now you've gone wacky.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always going wacky. Because you need wacky, because if I get dentist one more time...
What if you're the assistant? Like, what if you're the assistant? You're not even the dentist.
Yeah. Well,
you're the receptionist.
So it's a good point. Here's what I've decided. For the better jobs, those will cost more. Like the better packs of card.
I like it, microtransactions.
Oh, it's all about microtransactions. What I'm saying though is if you want to like end up with an assistant card, maybe that's only $3. But like a main job, and I don't mean to shit on anybody and say your job's not main. What I'm saying is like,
Or maybe he does.
If you're on one of the other jobs, I won't say anything's better or worse. Maybe they cost $5, and if you want to roll the dice on like a really good one, these wild card packs, it's where you get your one-on-ones, but you may also get the assistant.
Okay.
Or maybe the
Okay.
assistants are just NPCs. Maybe that's where it's free to play. You can play an assistant role without spending any money. That's how we get them in.
I
Maybe the
like
whole
that.
game's free and you're just buying the blind packs of careers.
Wow. Okay. Cash cow is what I call that.
Yep. Yeah. I think.
I mean, I'm a veterinarian again.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta put some wild cards in there. Some things people are like, shit, oil changer again.
Hey, just think if you could get a license, like if Walmart and Costco jumped on board.
Oh, not if, when.
I hear you. I hear you. Jiffy Lube.
Well, that's the thing. So Target's got a pack where you can get a Target worker. You can't get that any other way. You have to buy the
I
pack
like
at
it.
Target.
But yeah, what about Jiffy Lube? You can't really go to Jiffy Lube and buy that
Yeah,
pack.
you can do whatever you want. You're grown.
I don't know that Jiffy Lube gets that hard in the paint with us.
So I'm not against going to Quaker State and see what they got going on.
Domino's.
Oh, pizza delivery guy? I think that's a sweet gig because you're driving around.
Yeah. Driving around. I like it.
Uh-huh.
What about, hey, hold on. Uber Eats.
That'd be a $2 pack for sure.
Yeah, 100% $2 pack.
You're like, shit, I got Lyft again. But you're picking me up, taking me to be a dental assistant.
Yeah, there you go. Used car salesman. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with the possibilities of where that game could go.
Yeah,
Let's table that.
I hear you, but I'm working on it right now.
Figured you was. So, as you were talking about earlier, before we got down on that rabbit hole, and it was a deep one, we were just talking about games that we had, dove off into and how we were playing different things that we normally wouldn't play together when we're separate, when we're doing our own thing. And maybe you guys have talked about this. I don't know I don't know if producer Gerald or Dan play this at all. I know you do not. But a gentleman that I work with got me into a game that I never thought I would go down toward from software, and that's Elden Ring, right? Game's absolutely amazing. Never thought I would like something that challenged me like that game, but it is extremely fun to me, extremely hard, but it is very challenging, very fun. But when I get done playing it, I feel rewarded, or I either feel defeated. So it leaves me with emotions, and I don't have games like that much anymore. That
More
when I
emotions.
get done, yeah, well, when I get done playing them, I'm like, man, I feel a certain sort of way about them. You remember how games used to make you feel that way? You would get
Yeah.
done with them, and you were like, man, like Uncharted. When you played Uncharted for the first time, and you just felt like you were living a little bit of Nate Drake's story. Last of Us did that for me as well, but hadn't had that in a while.
Yeah, you fell in love with that game. I watched you play one night. It's certainly not my thing, but you're having a good time with it, as much of the world is. I was thinking about the other day. I guess there's a modder on PC that is working with them to add in, or not working with them, but he's created 4-player co-op all the way through the whole game. No jump in, no jump out. And I guess they're testing it out right now on the PC side. But it's interesting to me because my first thought when they talked about that is like, see, now that makes me want to play it more, because the idea of jumping in and playing with, like, again, friends or playing with you, that sounds fun. But just watching you play that game, it didn't look like anything I want to be a part of.
So yeah, so when I played with the gentleman that I work with that got me into the game, he had played pretty well every From Software game, so he knew the mechanics, he understood the how to attack, and the thing about it is you just can't, like in previous games with me, I'm the Leroy Jenkins, right? I'm the guy that runs in and just hollers, hey, let's get it done, let's go after it. Well, you can't in this game. You're going to die about 95% of the time you're going to die. I don't care if you're high level or not. You have to strategically take the battle. And listen to him explain some of these battles to me, and then once you figure it out, it's like, heck yeah. You know, it's like figuring out that tough puzzle or something in a certain game. I don't want to say Professor Layton because I don't know how tough those puzzles are to people, um, but you know, when you land something, you just feel kind of good about it. When you beat somebody, you're like, heck yeah, man, finally got that done. And you just stand up and you flex your chest out a little bit and go to work a little bit happier that day. I hadn't had a game make me feel that way in a while.
It's good. I think that's good. I think as people get older, I know I'll speak for myself. Like as I get older, that seems to be harder to find. I don't find that as often. I spent 10 minutes earlier talking about a game that I love right now that's struck me in a way that a game hasn't in a long time, but it's because I don't have to even think when I play it. So, I
Yeah,
think, emotions is not something I've felt in a game in a long time. I do think The Last of Us 2 kind of got me in my feels a little bit, which is weird because the first Last of Us didn't. But I think it's been a while since I've really felt that, and I think it's harder to find. And I don't think it has anything to do with games. I think there are plenty of games out there that give you the feels. I think it's just as you get older and as things get in, you get less time to play, and when I do have time, I just want to have fun, right? I don't want to be stressed out. I don't need anxiety. I don't need to be stressed. I don't need to be sad. I just want to have fun because I don't have the same time I had to play before.
yeah. So I agree with that. Jumping in, jumping out, being able to play a game quickly, pick it up and put it back down to move on with life, especially when you have kids like I do and work as many hours as we do throughout the week. Those jump in, jump out games are great because I used to be a huge World of Warcraft fan and played a ton of World of Warcraft. That was before I had 3 children.
Right.
My oldest daughter was probably 3 years old, and there was countless nights that I would play that game for hours upon hours upon hours. But of course, I was working a job to where I was working 40 hours a week, and now I'm working 55 plus, and I got 3 kids that are active into things, and life tends to take over. Um, and it's kind of a sad thing because games really did something for me then where I've never been a movie person. I know people that go and sit and watch through movies and they just leave and they'll be crying about a character, or they'll feel some sort of way about a character and they'll talk about that movie for days. Um, I've never really been that type of person. Now, there's movies that's made me feel that way, but I've not been the guy that's like, hey, I gotta go to the movies. This new
Right.
movie's coming out, and I just got to see it. But I have about video games. I have been like, hey, like if they were to come out with The Last of Us 3, and I know they won't, but if they was, that game captivated me so hardcore that I was like, man, I would have to. The game was so good.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just think things, it is sad that, I think about the way I felt about video games, and I still love games, and I'll always love games, but I don't know if I'll ever feel the way that I felt about games like when I was young, like the excitement. We talked about Mario Golf for the Switch. We were talking about the other day, and last time I went to the store, I went and looked at it, and I was like, you know what, that'd be a good time for me and him to play a little golf together.
yeah,
Then I'm like, well, it's coming to Switch Sports, and I'm like, well, we can play Switch Sports, but we can't get the rewards, so I don't even know if we'll do that, but I don't know that the rewards matter anyways. And then I'm like, all right, this thing's starting to sound stressful, so I just like just walked off. It's
right.
just because I make everything as more like a task now, whereas when you're young, it's just I didn't, I'll speak for myself. I didn't get games all the time when I was growing up, so like when you got one, it was a big deal.
Right.
Shit, I'm off. It was a big deal, and so just that excitement when you're an adult and you can just go buy a thing you want. I just think it changed. There you go.
How
There he
long
goes.
was it good?
I will be fine. Most people are already gone. We're actually in first.
We
Waiting to
just
finish
hit second.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I get what you're saying. I think that's just natural when you grow up. I mean, I still get excited about things, but never the same way. is when I was younger,
Yeah,
and
I tried to get.
I still think about playing Warcraft too. Just before we move off of that.
Yeah, I mean, World of Warcraft is free to play now up until a certain level, and I still have all my old characters, and I've jumped in there probably a dozen times since then, and it just doesn't hit the same for me.
Yeah.
You know how we talk about movies, and a lot of times I'll hear you say, uh, "Oh man, that movie still holds up," or "Oh man, that movie for sure don't hold up anymore." That's how it is. Like I was a huge Adam Sandler fan growing up, so I loved all of his movies. When I watch them now,
Hmm.
I'm like, hey, that humor don't hit me like it did when I was 18.
Yeah, I don't think those movies have aged very well. Anything Adam Sandler, I just don't think has aged very well. Um, and I don't know if it's me or if it's them, but they just didn't age very well. Those Adam Sandler movies, I think it's all of them too.
Yeah, well, some of them I didn't like anyways. Little Nicky I wasn't a fan of, but Happy Gilmore was probably one of my
Hey, hold
favorite
on.
movies.
Nobody was a fan of Little Nicky. You said that like some people were fans of Little Nicky.
They might have been. I don't know.
And
I don't
find that to be
judge.
disrespectful that you're like, I didn't like that one. I'm like, hey, well, nobody liked that one, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, well, I don't judge. I don't know. There's some people out there, different strokes, different folks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, nobody is like, you know what I think I'll watch tonight again? Little Nicky. Little Nicholas.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. There's no doubt.
That movie wasn't good then. It didn't hold up then.
You're right. You're right. But even Billy Madison doesn't, and that was one of my favorite movies. But even Billy Madison doesn't do it.
We're gonna make it.
Doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't think those movies are good anymore. I think that those movies are the same. I think you are not where you were when you watched those originally. I don't know what we're doing. I'm so upset with the way we're playing. Everybody's finished but us, so just head on through. Be fine.
I've made it
You're
now.
gonna get like half a point. I'm right behind you. 2 points, 3 points.
I didn't qualify.
We're the most eliminated. But I think it's just I think some games. It's not that World of Warcraft doesn't hold up for you, right? It's just that you're not the same person you were when you fell in love with it.
Yeah.
You don't hold up anymore for that game. That's what's
Yeah,
different.
it's still good, right? And I think that it still has a humongous following. But I think in a game like that too, um, when you leave it and you come back to it, and you were gone as long as I was, you remember the game as you get back into it, but you don't know how to play the game because there's so much has changed.
Right.
Your talent trees are different, but everything is the same. If that makes any sense, it's all different, but everything is the same because the same. It's still about stats, but those stats now have changed their name or changed their ability to.
And when you left, you were good at it.
Yeah,
And now
because I
you're
knew
not.
everything.
Right.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, yeah. I'm not. I mean, no guilds hollering, "Hey, you want to come roll with us?" Because I'm terrible.
Yeah, I think and being bad at something's not fun, right? So when you jump in and you're terrible, you're like, I don't think I want to do this again. Like I was wrong. I don't want to get back into this.
Yeah,
But I think that's
for
just
sure.
a side effect of just you being a different person and that the game being different and just those two things colliding. But we're running a little bit long, so we'll go ahead and close it out unless you have anything else. Was it worth the 10-year wait?
Man, it felt good. It definitely. I appreciate you getting me on here. I'd love to venture this thing and do this thing with Dan and producer Gerald. I know producer Gerald doesn't talk a whole lot when he is on here, but
Yeah, he likes to run things as a strong silent type.
yeah. So but no, man, it was great. Hopefully the listeners. We talked about games quite a bit, so hopefully
More than
the
normal, to be
listeners-
honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. Well. I was hoping to get into some Hogwarts Legacy too, but maybe for another time.
Yeah, 10 years from now.
Yeah, that's when it'll come out.
You'll be able to jump on. Well, yeah, it'd be fine. It'll be timely then. Well, I do appreciate you jumping on, especially last minute. If not, it was going to be just a boring episode with me by myself, being like, man, if someone else was on here, I'd talk to them. So I do appreciate it. If the audio quality is not that good, then don't just. There's no reason to bitch about everything. It is what it is. Be glad you got an episode. We don't miss, so you got this, and maybe we keep the video up. Maybe we don't. I played terrible. You didn't play great,
No,
but I played terrible.
I think I
So
played normal.
yeah, there's no reason for this to exist, I don't think. But I do appreciate you joining. I appreciate everybody listening. I think Dan and Gerald are back. I'm not sure that they didn't go to vacation together.
No. Hey, they live way separate though.
Yeah, but so you meet in the middle.
Well, I don't know. You know how Dan is, man. He's that wilderness guy. He's probably camping somewhere out in the woods, living off the land. And Gerald doesn't seem like the guy that does that.
Yeah, but low key, maybe they're hanging out. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe they are.
I mean, I get that it's the Memorial Day weekend. Seems odd they both couldn't be on.
It
That's
does
all I'm
seem
saying.
odd.
So that's what I'm saying. Anytime two people who are like friends are like, I'm going on vacation, you're like, oh, you both going? Like, are you going together, my guy?
I
Um,
mean,
you know,
yeah,
so I don't know that they're not together, but we'll find out next week. It's episode 489. If you want to support us, head over to patreon.com. If you want to follow us on social media, patreon.com, that's just the regular website, patreon.com/GameStitch. If you want to follow us on social medias, Twitter @game_stitch, @podcast Ryan, @shirtless Dan, @Hoffin Show. I don't know you don't use Twitter, do you?
I do have Twitter, but I couldn't tell you my handle.
Yeah, so don't follow him. Um, obviously, we'll have you on again. Maybe we'll try to get you on an episode where everybody's on there. But I do appreciate you jumping in. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Good night.
Good night.
I don't even know where my controller is to end this. Broadcast. Oh, it's the share button. Stop broadcast. Hour 23 minutes. Pretty good. I feel like that went pretty good.
Yeah,